Hello guys, in this video I'll show you how to enable the staging, or also called needle sweep, this one right here, on some Golf, GTI, and Jetta clusters. Normally you actually enable this feature with a VCDS cable, but on some of the clusters this adaptation is unavailable. When you go into the settings, it's unavailable. Or if you don't have that cable, but you have great soldering skills as well as EEPROM programming knowledge, you can also do this the alternate method that I'm going to show you. So let's get started. So first of all, the tools you need: a soldering iron, a programmer for the 24 series EEPROMs, a T8 Torx screwdrivers for taking apart the cluster, and your favorite method of desoldering the EEPROM chip from your cluster. So for me, that would be the removal solder, so really low melt temperature solder, as well as a solder wick for cleaning up the low melt solder. So when we put everything back together, it'll have the strength that it needs to sustain all the heat and vibrations. All right, let's get started. Once you have the cluster out of the car, there are 4 screws on the back that you have to take out. In my case, these are the T8 Torx screws. Once the screws are removed, you have to take apart the cluster. This is really easy. There are 2 clips, one on each side of the cluster. And what I find easiest to do is just have the cluster laying on the desk and then use 2 fingers to pry the little tab, this one right here, away from the cluster and then lift straight up. Do this simultaneously on both sides and it'll lift up pretty easily. By the way, you also have to cut this label right here so that the top and the bottom pieces of the cluster can separate. Once the top housing is removed, you can carefully lift the electronics, the circuit board and all that, out of the bottom housing, like so. Next step, we're going to remove all of the needles and the face away from the circuit board, which is where the EEPROM is soldered onto. To do this, you have to grab the needle, turn it counterclockwise while lifting up. Things that you have to be careful of: if you have fingernails, be careful not to scratch the faceplate. I've done it a little bit, as you can see right here. Yeah, this is not good. Also, do not, never, ever turn it clockwise. If you turn it in this direction, you might actually break the stepping motor underneath, and yeah, you have to find some replacements for that. So don't turn it clockwise, counterclockwise only. Lift it up while you turn, and also be careful of sharp objects scratching the face. Let's get started. This is much harder to do on camera. Here we go. It's 1 needle removed. So now do the same for the 3 remaining needles, and I'll see you once those are removed. The next step, we're going to remove the light surround, the face plates, the center displays, and all of that away from the PCB, the circuit board, as a single unit. To start that, first we're going to release the clip here, the black section. For the ribbon cable, just lift that up so the ribbon is now free to release when we lift everything up. Next step, we're going to flip this over. You will see 2 metal tabs for the metal surround on the display. One right here and one over there. So I already done it, but twist them so that they can fit back through the slot, like so. After that, you will see a few of the white clips. There should be 4. One here, one here, one here, one over there. So what you do is squeeze those in a little bit. They're pretty soft, easy to do, and then push them up a little bit. Alright, so now I have the 4 white clips on the back pushed in a little bit and pushed up. This will come right off as a single piece, like so. Alright, so now we have the PCB on its own. The chip that we're going to be focusing on is this one right here, the 24C64. It's possible that you could program this chip right here, so solder wires onto that, or use flying probes to program it on the board. But what I have done is use the desoldering tools the low melt solder to remove this chip off of the board, and then put this onto the programmer itself to program it. So this is what we're going to do next. All right, so now that's all connected. Next step, we're going to plug this onto the computer and use the program to dump the EEPROM content. All right, now we have the computer here. What we're going to do is plug the programmer onto the PC and start the program. Don't worry about that. What we want to do is find the proper chip, in our case, type 24, manufacturer ST, and the name of our chip, 24C64. Alright, so once we have that selected, we're going to read. Alright, so this is the content of the EEPROM chip from the cluster. Before we make any modification, what we're going to do first is save it. This is really critical, just in case if you change something and it doesn't work, you can always come back to the original EEPROM so that you won't break your cluster. So now that we have it saved, we're going to make the modification to enable the staging. So the byte that we are interested in is 66. So we have 6 right here, 6 on the last digit, 66. So our existing value is 04 in hexadecimal. If you're not familiar with conversion between hexadecimal and binary, you can use a conversion tool. In this case, I'm going to use the calculator on Windows 10. 04. Now because it's 0, it won't show up, but essentially our original value in 04 in hex is 0000 and then 0100 in binary. In order to enable the staging, we're going to flip the 6th bit. If you start from 1, the 6th bit in the binary to a 1 to enable that feature. So then what we would have is 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. So we're going, so this is now displaying the full byte. Essentially, we're changing this bit from 0 to a 1. So now our new hexadecimal value is 24. So we're going to put that in here, changing that to a 2, 24. All right, so that is all the modification you need to do. Next, we're going to write this back into the EEPROM. So it's going to erase the chip for me, write it back in there, and then do a verification. Completed, chip and buffer same. So that means it has written into the EEPROM and then verified it by reading the EEPROM again, and the data that came back from the EEPROM was the same as the buffer. All right, so now the chip has been fully programmed, and we're going to put this back onto the cluster. And now we have this chip fully soldered on and all cleaned up. And what's next would be installing the cluster back together. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is reinstall the light housing faceplate and display assembly. So we just carefully put that where it's supposed to go. And then align the ribbon to where that would go, and then push it down. Alright, so now that that's all locked up, we're going to make sure the ribbon sits into the slot and then push down on the black clip to lock that in place. Next, we're going to flip over the cluster and twist the two metal prongs so that locks the LCD frame in place. So once the prongs are bent back into place, verify that the 4 plastic clips are all clipped in. Here and here, that looks all good. And next step, we're going to reinstall the needles. When reinstalling the needle, what you want to do is, again, keep in mind, only turn the needle counterclockwise and never ever turn clockwise. So with this in mind, the best way I've found to install them and calibrate them to their proper position is to actually install the needle with it pointing a little bit higher than the stopping point. Push it in, and then I use a finger as a stopper just below the position where it's supposed to stop. And then I twist the needle until it hits my finger. And that's it. So now I do the same with all 4 needles. Once all the needles are installed and aligned, we're going to bring back the bottom housing, sit the cluster into the housing, and then finally reinstall the lid. And the final step is just to tighten the 4 Torx screws that you took out, and the cluster will be back together and ready to be tested. And for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to power the cluster on my bench here. So what I have is ground, constant power, and this is ignition. So when I touch ignition into 12 volts, the cluster will turn on. Here we go. And that's it. That was the needle sweep mod. Again, it's far easier and more convenient if you're able to do it through the VCDS VACCOM. But on some earlier clusters, that wasn't an option to be able to program that in through the program. In that case, or if you don't have the interface, or if you just feel like taking the cluster out and do it, through the cheap method. So all you have to do is take it apart, take the EEPROM out, hook it onto a computer, program it, save the existing original program, change 1 bit essentially, and put everything back together. Just to show you again. That's it. That's the needle sweep mod. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.